Hey, Brian Birdy here. I'm your 2018 NARPM National President. I am participating in the North Carolina State Property Management Conference today, and I'm about to teach a class about the what's, whys, and hows of NARPM designations. So I'm Brian Birdy. And so, hey, let's get back on track here and get me caught up on the what's, the whys, and the hows of NARPM designations. How many people in here have a certification or a designation from NARPM right now? Yay, you're in the right room. So I'm going to walk through this, and there's just us, which means, hey, let's ask questions. Let me guide you through this. Let's take advantage of the fact that we don't have as many people, and that means we can spend a little time on going on through things. So I'm going to walk you through all of those things we just said. So the first is the what. What in the heck is a NARPM designation? Well, NARPM's first offered a designation in October of 1989. We have both certifications and designations. We have 3 certifications, and certifications are available to support staff member as well as professional members. In the old way, it was just for support staff. Support staff could get certifications and professional members would get designations, but we changed that because we had a lot of people who were support staff who earned their certificates, then became professional members, and they said, why do I have to give up my certification? I earned it. And so the board looked at it and said, that is kind of dumb. And there were people, especially when we had, back then there was only one certified support specialist, but when we opened up the new ones, a lot of professional members said, hey, I want to go and I want to follow the track and I want to get that certification. And so now it's open for both as far as certification goes. So we have the CSS, which is our original one, Certified Support Staff, and that was designed just so that we could have a support staff that says, I'm all into NARPM, I know everything about NARPM, I'm going to line myself up and be able to show that I'm a professional support individual in this industry that's not necessarily a property manager. And then we realized there are some specialties that people could also get certifications in to really be able to point out that they're a specialist within that area. And so they came up with a Certified Maintenance Coordinator certificate and a Certified Residential Management Bookkeeper. And so you have the overriding support specialist that could be doing anything. Then you have those 2 very unique, very important parts of our business, which is maintenance and money. And so there are now a CSS, a CMC, and a CRMB are our certifications. NARPM has 3 designations. 2 of them are individual designations. First one is the RMP, the Residential Management Professional. Second one is the MPM, Master Property Manager. And the company designation, which is the highest designation that can be earned, is the CRMC, which is the Certified Residential Management Company. So I'm an RMP, an MPM, and my company is a CRMC. I have somebody who works for me that is a CSS and somebody who works for me who's a CRMB, but I don't have a CMC. So I can almost say that within my business I have every one of these covered, but I'm missing one of them. I had somebody who was working to be a CMC, but she doesn't work for me anymore. All right, so what is, and you know what? I'm going to sit.
Yeah, here.
Let's just slide this thing over.
So assume everybody in here is going for the first one.
Well, we don't know that. Some people probably hadn't gone for any. Are we all professional members? Okay, so the first thing we could go for is I'm going to go over them all so that you know for yourself, for your staff, for future, but the RMP is the beginning one. So when I get to the RMP, I will make sure we stop and really take a look at that one, since that's probably the first one you can do. I'll move a little quicker through the rest of these. So a Certified Support Specialist is the very first certification that was available to NARPM. It's designed for anybody who works in property management as a support staff, but is also now available for professional members. There are 9 members in NARPM that hold the CSS certification. Certified Maintenance Coordinator is one of our newest ones. These 2 just are probably only 2 years old, this one and the next one. It is designed for those individuals who work in the tranquil world of maintenance. Currently there are 3 members who hold the CMC designation. And the CRMB is a Certified Residential Management Bookkeeper. Again, it is one of the newer ones. It's probably only about 2 years old. and it's designed for members who work in the accounting or bookkeeping area of property management, and there are currently 2 members of NARPM who hold the CRMB designation. The RMP, which is the first designation for an individual, is a residential management professional. It is awarded to a property manager who have completed extensive coursework, service projects for their chapter in NARPM, demonstrated dedication to the industry. NARPM has awarded over 600 RMPs. And currently there are 460 active RMPs representing the top 8% of membership. So I believe when you tell a person that I am an active member of NARPM, you are setting yourself out as a professional property manager that has stepped up above all other property managers because of your involvement. Then within the 5,700 and growing members we have, when you get a designation, you clearly move yourself to the top of that crowd. And in this case, right now, today's numbers, you're in the top 8% of our membership. So it's a very small number if you really think about this. It's available to everyone. Not everyone takes advantage of it. And I tell you, it makes a difference at how people look at you in your profession when you go out and earn this. And it is built in a way that it teaches you and forces you to learn how to be a better property manager, better business owner. All right, so what is the NPM designation? Well, it's the master property manager. It's awarded to a property manager who has already earned your RMP designation. So you can't even get your NPM until you have been awarded your RMP. They go basically in order. You have to complete advanced course requirements. You have reached the highest level of achievement for your chapter and NARPM and their community. And the highest designation that any individual can achieve in NARPM is the NPM. We have awarded over 200 NPMs, and currently there are 183 active NPMs representing the top 3% of NARPM. Pretty small and distinct crowd when you are a NPM designee. CRMC is the Certified Residential Management Company. This esteemed designation is awarded to those professional property management firms that demonstrate a high standard in both procedures and customer service. A detailed examination of the company and recommendations from clients and peers are required to get that designation. And NARPM has awarded over 55 CRMCs across the country, and currently there are 52 active CRMCs representing the top 1% of NARPM membership. So those are the whats. So here's the why. Why in the world do I want to go get myself a designation? Very simply, this process makes you a better property manager. I think one of the things that's really unique about NARPM designations, and all of us in the real estate world know that there are designations available. You can line up all kinds of alphabet behind your name, and in some of those situations, all you have to do is take a class and give them their money, and you get the designation. In NARPM, it's not like that. In NARPM, the requirement of both time and service and education create something that's much more involved for you to be able to learn how to actually be a better property manager. It takes multiple classes, it takes experience of management, and it takes time. It's not something that can be done necessarily very easily. Now, a lot of the time you may have already put in, because if you've already been managing, you get credit for some of what you've done. And we're going to go over the requirements of all of these. But this is more about just the why itself. So increasing your knowledge and your confidence. I recently on Facebook had posted something out there and asked people about, why, or what did you get by going out and earning? I asked some members who already had them, what did you get? Because I'm writing an article on this right now. You'll see it in a future magazine. So what did you get from the process of earning it? And the one thing I was so surprised at was the amount of people that says, I gained confidence in myself that I was actually a good property manager. And that is not the answer I thought I was going to get. I thought they'd be like, yes, I grew my business, I won more deals, whatever. But there was a tremendous number of people that said when they went and actually earned their RMP, by the time they earned their RMP, they realized, I belong here. I am good at this. I know what I'm doing. And it was like there was a question mark before that, I guess, in their mind. But after they earned their designation, it kind of just cemented that, boom, they're a professional. They know what they're doing. So not just the knowledge, a lot of times just confidence and being able to share that confidence by being able to say that you're an RMP. Sets you apart from your competition. Now, I believe being part of NARPM sets yourself apart from your competition, because I don't believe people that are in NARPM are my competition. They're my colleagues. There's more than enough business out there. I believe my true competition are non-NARPM property managers and owners who manage themselves, because none of them know what the heck they're doing. And they are my true competition because they shouldn't be managing houses, and we should. And so I draw the line there. Impacts your company and your clients. The process of getting designations forces you to look at how you're doing your business, and it will impact them mostly in very positive ways. You're not really sure the things you're doing wrong till you examine the fact that you should be doing it better. Or in my case, some of the things I figured out I was doing when I first started getting into NARPM was I was actually doing stuff completely wrong and illegal. I just didn't even know any better. And then someone taught me it was wrong, and I went, uh-oh, I better change how I'm doing my business, or I'm going to be out of business pretty quick. Results translate directly to your bottom line. Generally, the process of examining yourself this closely will force you to make good decisions that will generally make you and your business more profitable, and hopefully start to grow your business, which again affects the bottom line. And then it helps your chapter. You know, one of the questions on Chapter Excellence and Chapter of the Year is, how many designees do you have? What percentage of growth of designees did you have? How many people are in your chapter right now who are working on it as a candidate to get their designation? So as much as you do it, and I pushed that big when I was the president of San Antonio chapter, I told everybody, I need you to sign up and start working on it. And if you're working on it, I need you to earn it, because as all those numbers go up and we have to turn our report in, it affects us. It affects our ability to get chapter excellence, and if we're competing to try to be chapter of the year. So not only will you help yourself, but you can actually help your chapter. All right, so how in the world do you go out and get yourself a designation? Well, first thing you have to do, they are earned with a combination of property management experience. So there will be some people who come in and it will take them a while, because they're simply not managing very many houses. I remember there's a guy named Richard Burton from Atlanta, Georgia. He's in charge of the vendors at the National Convention. He's from Boston. He's a Boston guy from Atlanta, so it's kind of funny. But I met him at a broker owner. He had just joined NARPM. He walked in and I said, hey Richard, how long have you been a member of NARPM? He said, I've been a member of NARPM for 1 day. I said, what? He said, yep, I joined yesterday, found out about broker owner, and I flew here to attend. It's like, holy cow. I said, how many doors do you have? And he handed me his business card, which was a picture of a bunch of doors in the background. He says, I have more doors on my business card than I manage. Because he says, I currently manage 0. He says, I'm going to be a property manager. He had already built the business. He had business cards and everything, found NARPM, and came in. And then said, you know what, I'm getting this designation as fast as I possibly can. And the last thing that because I said, well, then go get everything done. The last thing he had to wait on was he had to have enough years of experience managing doors, because he didn't have any when he started. But he has already earned his RMP and is working on his NPM now. So you have to physically manage properties to be able to get this designation. You have to go through NARPM education courses. And that's the part that starts to make you learn, can you be doing your business better, smarter? Can I be a better property manager? Because you're going to get educated on that. Now, it doesn't limit you as to which ones. You get to choose. And that's why we tell people, that's why we're telling our chapters how important it is to bring local education. And they just, how many people took the class that was here, when was it, yesterday?
Yesterday.
Or was it risk management? Mm-hmm. Right, so they'll all right, 5 of you, all right. So that class is part of the requirement of earning your designation. And I'll get to all the specifics in a little bit. Serving the association through volunteer activities. This association is about service, right? We don't survive without service. We have local chapters, they have committees, we have a national organization that's filled with committees. Everybody's a volunteer. I'm the national president. This is a volunteer position. The only thing I get by being national president is they cover my travel costs. That's it. The rest is all volunteer. Because when you serve the association, you win. When you realize because you're giving back to the industry, you're giving back to the association, service will show you how you can be better at what you're doing. And we're really big on that. Attendance of the NARPM conventions, a broker owner, or, hello, state conferences. You are attending the North Carolina State Conference and you get credit towards earning your designation. There are points available to you just because you are at this event. Because we believe that these are the kind of events that help change our members. And that's why we give credit towards your designations for doing these kinds of things. So imagine that. There are people here today who earn points for taking the class, earn points for being at the event, and earn points for serving on the committee that planned this event. And all of that can go towards getting your designation. So how do you do it? You got to apply for your candidacy. The only way you want to go become a designee, you better apply. They give you 3 years to finish. So like Richard, I told him, don't apply right away. Let's wait and see how you build your portfolio, because it may take you more than 3 years to get the the years you need. So I don't remember how long he waited. It wasn't very long, maybe a year or so, and then he went ahead and applied because he wanted to put a deadline, right? I tell people apply, because then you got a deadline. I'm going to earn my designation as fast as possible. That's what everybody says. Then reality sets in, and I go, hey, apply, and guess what? I'm going to earn my designation in the next 3 years or else. So now I am forced to start thinking about, what do I need to do? When do I need to take a class? What event should I go to? Because you can start looking at where are the missing pieces that I have to fill in so I can say I have everything done. Colleen was just saying, I think I have everything done. I can now fill it all out, right? And I tell people, no, sign up and become a candidate right now and look at what you have and start putting it out, and then fill it in as you go. You got 3 years to do it.
Quick question.
Yep.
The stuff that you did before you officially applied,
still counts. Some of them may have a time limit, there may be a window, but all of it counts as long as it's all NARPM stuff. Some of the non-NARPM education events have a time, it can only be in the last whatever, but most things count, and that's because they don't want to discredit. Any NARPM stuff you did just because you at the time weren't thinking about being a candidate doesn't devalue that you did those things. And so you normally can get credit for almost all of them. You just have to be able to prove them. But most things are provable right off of, you go into your member site and go say, where have I been? What have I done? You can get it. What classes have I taken? There's certificates for all of them. And if you don't have yours, NARPM can provide you proof. So one of the things in the old days is mentors used to be mandatory. Then they went away with mentors. And then people were screaming, I want mentors back. And so we said, all right, we're going to have a mentor program. We have people who have signed up. We have a mentor training process, and they're out there. But they're optional. You can have an official mentor, you can have an unofficial mentor. The person that I think that should always be a mentor is somebody who you either have a connection with, want to make a connection with, who has the designations or believes in designations. I've been mentors for many different people, and a lot of them were nowhere near me. The last one was Philip Scarborough in Jacksonville. He just called, he said, Brian, you're going to be my mentor. I want you to hold me accountable. This is the date I want it done by. And I said, good, get ready, because I'm going to hold you accountable to that date. And I would call him, and he'd call me and ask for help, and we made sure he turned all his stuff in and got his thing. You want to find somebody that can help you figure out, what should I do? What classes should I take? How can I make this happen? You know, because then I'll be telling people, like, if you want points, you have to serve. But there's great ways to serve. I tell people, serve on state planning committees, because they're done. Today, they're done. The committee's over. They get all their points. But if you're serving as the secretary of your chapter, you don't get your points till December 31st. Because you got to serve the whole year. But a planning committee ends when the event's over. So here it is, February, and everybody's been planning this. Technically, tomorrow, they've earned all their points. So there are things that mentors can show you, right? Some of you don't know that we make retention calls. We call everybody who doesn't renew their membership. And people have to call them on the phone and say, hey, what we missing you? Where are you going? Oh, I'm not in the business anymore. I called one and found out they died. I couldn't reach them, and I finally called the office, and they said, oh, Brian, I'm sorry, she passed away. I was like, oh, deceased. But we physically call our members to try to maintain our membership. Guess who does that? Volunteers. They earn points for it. I think Colleen is making she gave her 30 names she had to call, and she's going to get 5 points. That's 10% of your volunteer point requirement. I mean, there's writing articles, get you 15 points. I mean, there are things that you can do, and that's where a person who's gone through it is a great way to set yourself up and to hold. You need an accountability department. We'll fail ourselves if we're the only one accountable to ourselves all day long. But as soon as you have another person holding you accountable, all of a sudden everything changes. I really, really believe in the mentor program. It's optional. I tell people you should make it mandatory for yourself.
We can reach out to somebody we know.
There's also a list of people that are out there, and there's an official list of official mentors that you can call, but honestly, anybody in NARPM who will just personally tell you that they'll be your mentor is all you really have to be, and it could be anybody. But I would ask someone who's got their designations because they've gone through the process. You go on, once you have your candidacy, they're going to send you through an opportunity to sign up for your online candidacy package. Everything then is done on a portal online. You actually start uploading all the different pieces. And I'm like, I used to tell people, it used to be a book, a 3-ring binder with 2 copies, and you have to put it in a FedEx thing and mail it to headquarters. And I used to say, put the binder on your desk with what's required and have it on the corner of your desk, and you look at it once a week and figure out when are you going to solve one of those problems. Well, now it's in a computer, so it's the same thing. Start the uploading process, start uploading the pieces, check on that thing once a week and say, what can I accomplish on this checklist this week, this month? Where's the next thing I can do so I can start? Because once all the check boxes are done, you're done. You push submit and then you wait for approval. There's always something you could be working on. Make sure you review the RMP checklist is online right now at narpm.org. You can pull it out, start reading through it, figure out it's the greatest thing you should do right now when you go home this weekend is pull that thing off and start filling it out and go, I already have this, I have 10 points here. You're like, holy cow, I only need to do 3 things and I'm done. Most people are surprised how close they are to earning their designation until they sit down and look at it and find out they are that close. So upload them as you do them. It's motivating. You know how it is. You got a list with 6 things you have to check off. Every time you check one off, it just revalidates your focus to get this thing done. It's like, man, I'm this much closer. I'm 2 steps closer. All I have to do is, and then you start thinking about what do I need to do to solve those problems. Set a timeline. Once you sit down and see what's required, you can decide what is the longest that this should actually take me, and then hold yourself accountable to that. Tell your mentor, I want to be done by blank. Now, when you earn it, it is the award itself, the certificate itself, and the swearing in and taking the oath of that designation is done at a chapter meeting, if you have a chapter, and as soon as it's awarded to you. But every year at convention, they're recognized, or they should be recognized. Last year's recognition was a little weak, and I put an end to that. So this year's will be probably much more than last year's. It was a big deal. I got a boutonniere, got walked across stage, swore in front of everybody, and over time that's morphed into many different things, and it got a little too laxed, and we changed that. I changed that because I was like, this is huge, and everybody needs to be recognized who goes to convention, who earned it. So they've adjusted that themselves with my request. So review your progress with your mentor, kind of set up a regular basis. At first that might be quarterly and eventually it might be monthly, and then, you know, as you really start to push home to make sure this thing can get done and turned in. Yep.
The online how do you say that word? Candidacy.
Candidacy package.
I applied, but I know it was not last year. Maybe last year, I can't remember. It was right in the winter, so it was either end of 2016, 2017.
Okay.
Would I have gotten a link, or can I just go to the NARPM login and look?
No, it's an individual thing. So it should have been in the package you got. If you didn't get it, you can call NARPM headquarters and say, hey, I signed up, I haven't done much with it, and I want to get it.
I think I've done things.
Right, and I want to get it, I want to see where it's at. I forgot how to log. Can you tell me, how do I get to my online candidacy package? And then they'll look at your name, figure it out, and probably send you a link. And then you click on it, you log in, and it's a control system. And then I think that they can actually allow your mentor access. They'll put their name and they give them a password. And then that document is then utilized in that little storage space is where the auditor comes in and audits everything and says, and gives the official yes when you're done. And so that was just to get away from the paperwork that we always used to do. So all done online, all just uploading everything. You just scan stuff in and plug it in the spots where it needs to go, and you can see when you've filled all in the boxes. So All right, so how do you earn a certification? We'll start with that one. So there's a $95 candidacy fee when you fill out the candidate application. It's a singular form. You just check off which one you're applying for. Candidate must be completed for the certification in 2 years. Verification that the candidate is a NARPM support staff member in good standing or a professional member. That's added. I didn't update this slide, so because it can be either one now. On that one, it's a lot easier to get a certification than designations, very clearly. Okay, so on all certifications, you need to get a recommendation from a current employer or a supervisor, and one from a tenant, a client, or a professional peer.
And what if you are the owner broker?
Current employer, owner. Probably in that case, you would need to get one from a client and a professional peer, because that's what we do on designations. And of course, this was designed and written for it to be just support staff, but when they changed that, and they may have already covered that on the checklist. Verification of employment with your sponsoring property manager, minimum of 1 year requirement. All you'd have to just show if you're the owner is, you know, how long you've been in the business, or how long you've held the license, or how long the business is. Something that just kind of shows that you're not 2 days old, and we're not going to certify you if you don't know anything. So the minimum requirement to earn a certification is 1 year of experience. You have to have gone through a full year, whether you are the broker, owner, property manager, or just a support staff person that's working there. You have to have 1 year experience to get to have the right to earn a certification. And everybody has to take the NARPM ethics course, so to be able to earn a certification.
Is that anything that has to be repeated?
NARPM ethics course is taken once every 4 years. It's a 4-year cycle. The last 4-year cycle started in 2016. Yeah. So we did it from 10 through 13. No, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I think it might end in 18. No, because I just did it. It was version of 2016 with updates of 2018. So 16, 17, 18, or 19. In one of those 4 years, you have to take ethics. If you took it before that, it counted for the previous 4 years. So 16, 17, 18, 19, one of those 4 years, every member has to take ethics. A support staff member is not mandatorily required to take ethics, but a support staff who wants a certification has to take the ethics course. That's why it's written this way. Professional member has to take it once every 4 years, so that's pretty much covered. All right, the CSS requirements, completion of 3 NARPM approved courses. All right, so you have to go take 3 of our classes to get that. Electives, you have to take and earn 25 elective points. The approved NARPM courses is ADA Fair Housing, Office Operations, and the Paperless Office. And the CMC requirements, they get more specific about the classes that you need to take. Completion of the following 3 courses: Habitability Standards of Maintenance, Maintenance Basic and Beyond, and the Lead-Based Paint Law one. Some of these are online classes, some of them are the in-house like we did here yesterday. And then you have to have electives that total 25 points. They have a list on the checklist of what kind of things you can do. Going to chapter meetings, helping serve, even making phone calls like that would be ways to earn elective points. Then in this particular one, they'll give you 5 elective points if you also take the Operating and In-House Maintenance Company course. In addition to the requirement ones, you could take that class and get 20% of your elective point requirement to earn the CMC, which is the Certified Maintenance Coordinator. The Certified Residential Management Bookkeeper requirements are to take the NARPM 101 Basic of Property Management or Office Operations, the ADA Fair Housing class, and the NARPM Finance course, which says it's online only, but they brought a new finance course out that's in classroom, so you could take either one of those. And again, electives for 25 points. And the completion of the NARPM course Risk Management, which is what you took yesterday, right? Essentials of Risk Management, could earn you 5 points towards your 25-point elective points for those that are working on their certification as the bookkeeper one. Now, your RMP requirements, these are the things that all of you in this room are going to have to earn this first designation. First, you have to be a current member of NARPM. Can't earn a designation unless you're a member. Pretty simple, right? Be currently a licensed real estate agent for a period of no less than 2 previous years if your state requires licensing. NARPM, one of the reasons we aren't recognized our designations by NAR is because we allow non-realtors in our organization. And that's because states like Maryland, Idaho, Arkansas, Maine, Massachusetts, I think there's like 7 of them, don't require you to be licensed as a realtor to do property management. Some don't require anything. The states of Oregon and South Carolina, you can be a property manager with just a property management license, but you can't do any real estate action because it's not considered a real estate thing, but you can own and run your own property management company with a property management license.
Is that sufficient to?
Yeah, so if those things, whatever your state requires, we require that. So if you're from Idaho, we require nothing because that's what that state requires. But you guys are in North Carolina, which requires a property manager to be a licensed realtor, correct? So in that case, you got to prove that you've been a licensed real estate agent for at least 2 years to meet the requirement to get that designation. Verification of 100 units of years of experience acquired over a minimum of 2 consecutive years. 1 unit equals management of residential units for 1 year. Must manage a minimum of 25 units during the candidacy period and at the time of the designation. So what that means is this. You can't apply, and that's why I was trying to remember what I told Richard to do. Richard didn't apply until he got 25 doors. Because you can't even be a candidate if you don't have 25 doors. Or if you were managing 100 and you lost all of them when you were trying to earn it, you have to be, at least be managing 25 the day you earn it. Most people are in a growth pattern where if you're at 25 now, it just starts to slowly go up. So basically what it's, if you look at this, says you need about 50 doors under management that you are personally responsible for, or if you're the broker and you're running the whole company, that you manage at least 50 doors for 2 years. And then that's 50 and 50, that's 100. But if you managed 25 last year and 75 this year, still 100. You just have to be able to prove what did you manage, and there you actually provide a list of the houses that you managed in each year and show that it equals, and it's a 2-year window. So in the 2-year window, you have to prove that you have 100 between whatever year and the current year you're finishing. So
2 questions.
Yep.
Back to the licensed real estate agent.
Yep.
Does that mean licensed broker?
No.
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 I'm not a member of the National Association of Realtors.
That's okay. Don't have to be.
But I am a broker. I have my license.
Yep. No, you don't. We don't say that you have to be a realtor.
Like
You just have to have your license.
Okay. Next question.
When sometimes we get in, we just assume the 2 of those things go together,
Yeah.
and they don't, and it's not a requirement.
Because my company doesn't
So.
do sales at all.
Right.
None of us are.
So you have a real estate license because your state requires the license to be able to do property management.
Right.
You're not a realtor because the real estate organization is really designed to sell houses.
Right. Exactly.
How do you list property?
How do you list
and
properties?
show property if you're not a realtor?
She can
We
list.
don't list it in the MLS.
That's it.
We're not members of even our local board. Well, we are members of our local board, but the company is, but I am not. You don't have to be.
Yeah.
Because our local board requires you to be part of MLS, which requires you to be a realtor.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's the
So
way.
my
That's the way they
company
get
is
most of them, but they don't
member
have
of
to.
the
So.
local board, but us are just kind of, in our board, you can be listed as support staff.
Yep. Unlicensed or licensed agent as support staff, or unlicensed agents for what they can do.
Saves us a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because there's like 20 of us. Okay, so then my next question is, I'm the general manager.
Okay.
There are 10 property managers total. We all manage a
Yep.
portfolio. But my portfolio is only about.
But you are
but I'm the
individually
general manager
responsible of all
for
of those.
For all 1,600.
You get credit for all 1,600 properties.
Okay. I
And
was
you get credit for all,
thinking for a
you
second,
get
like-
credit for all 1,600 properties when your broker, who do you report to? Who's your boss?
The president.
Yep. When the president writes the letter that says
Okay.
that you are responsible for the overall management of all 1,600 doors, and you've managed those 1,600 doors for 2 years, you have 3,200 door credit towards a requirement of 100.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Just check.
and we've learned this because that's the way I am, right? I don't have any property managers. I'm departmentally, so nobody can claim that they manage a certain, but I manage, you know, almost the same amount of properties, right? So, but I can write a letter and say, you know, my person who is my accounting manager does this. She deals with evictions and she deals with rents, and she doesn't do every single function within it, but nobody does. We're all hybrids of some sort, unless you were like when I earned it. When I earned it, it was just me. I was the only one there, so I did everything. But as your business grows, that, you know, pieces get parsed out in ways, but that comes down from just proving that you are actively involved in the overall management of all those doors. You get credit. Because technically, I manage them all today. Day to day, I don't do anything. I'm less involved in management today than I was when I was starting out. Yeah. I just solved big problems. Yeah. Did I get all of them?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank
Anybody else? Okay, good. So, right, be able to be a member. Got to have your license if your state requires it. Got to have 100 years experience in a 2-year window that you can prove, and your letter would work. And you have to successfully complete 18 hours of NARPM approved coursework plus the NARPM ethics course, which is required for every professional member anyway. Excuse me. So the 18 hours, almost all of our classes are 6-hour courses, so relatively you're looking at taking 3 classes. The class that people took yesterday got 6 hours credit. They're 1/3 the way there. Colleen's case, that was now her 3rd class. She has taken all 3 that she needs. She has her educational requirement done for this RMP requirement. You have to earn 50 elective points through service to NARPM. And on that RMP checklist, it tells you everything you can get points for. You get points for coming to this event. You get points for serving on committees. You get a lot of points if you serve in leadership in your chapter. The goal is, the entire thing is designed to get you more involved. And so that's why I say, if you go earn your designation, you will get involved in NARPM more, and then you'll learn the benefit of being involved, and then you'll even want to do more.
Now, the coursework is retroactive. Are the elective points, can they also be applied?
They can be. Yep.
Okay.
Let's say you were the president 2 years ago of your local chapter and you just now want to apply for it. You still were the president of your chapter. You still get 25 points for that, and you're halfway done. There's not a, now if it was 10 years ago, I don't know. I don't know if anyone would freak out. I mean, there's a certain point. I mean, relatively in recent, you know, to this, an NPM maybe, but an RMP, there's nothing written here that says they can't, but they might question it.
And you said state events.
Oh, there's a huge, there's no, oh, there's a you have to go online and look at it, but I can tell you right now, if you serve on leadership, you serve on a committee, you do anything to benefit NARPM where the leader can give you credit for it, writing an article, going to, because you have to go to a national convention, broker owner, or 2 state conferences. 2 state conferences equals 1 of the national ones. You have to go to 1 of those. But if you've gone to more of those, every other more of those you've gone to are all extra points. Now, they may limit how many points you can get in any one category. But, so for example, if you're an RP and you've been to 2 national conventions, one's a requirement, the second one is points. And then, if you've been at this, which is bonus beyond that, it's more points.
How many points is it?
50 points, right there.
How many points is that?
Oh, each one of those?
Yeah.
State conference is probably 5 points. National convention's 10 points. Writing an article is 15 points. Making those phone calls is 5 points. That is the easiest 5 points you will ever earn. Go make 30 phone calls and earn 5 points.
No, 15, because it's 5 points for 10 calls.
Oh.
But how many can you earn?
I did 30 calls, so I earned 15 points.
Really?
You do, right?
Are you sure that's right?
She's like, it better be great.
Yeah. Oh, no, it says right on the thing.
Oh, okay. Is that the max that you can get is 15?
Yes.
Okay, I know there's a ceiling on most of these things. They went and back and said, hey, you can't earn any more than blank on any one item, because we don't want anyone to just do one thing and get all their points. We want it to be a mixture of things that help you, right? And on the first one, it's 50 points is not hard, right? It really is not hard. Yep, if you can get some, you can get some points for additional hours. All these go into those 50 points, right? Attend 2 NARPM state conferences or 1 national convention or 1 broker owner. That is a standalone requirement. So if you've done more than that, the additional ones can go towards earning the points towards your 50. Submit sealed letters of recommendation from an RMP or an NPM designee and 3 clients. So you have to go out and find, and that RMP and NPM does not have to be from your chapter or even your state. It can be anybody in NARPM who holds that designation who will say, you know what, I can write a recommendation for you. It's a form letter that NARPM's already produced. It's not that hard to fill out. And now, I believe you can do it all electronically through the system where there's no more sealed envelopes. You send it, it electronically goes to the guy. When he fills it out, it automatically goes in and it hides it from you. Because the whole thing is we don't want you to see it or change it. So ask only the people who love you to fill this thing out.
So the letter of recommendation is not something you ask them to write. It is a standard template
Form that they fill out, and it asks some specific questions. It's very simple to fill out. They're only going to fill out a 3-sentence answer and 2 check boxes. It's really easy, and it's online. Clients too. Clients, or I get them lots of times, and I said, hey, make sure you do it electronically. I get it and go, click, 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 write my paragraph. How did I meet them? How long have I known them? What do I feel about their character, what they've done for the property managed industry, and why am I recommending them? One little blurb about that, and bloop, sign it. And then your clients, which you smartly would be using the 3 best owners that you have the greatest relationship with, and you tell them what you're doing, and they're very proud to help you earn that designation. So. Submit and complete a candidacy checklist packet within 3 years of applying. So that's why I was saying all this should be able to be earned within 3 years. So if you're saying I want to go get it, then sign up now and commit yourself to getting it done. Being signed up and having a date in front of you, even if it's 3 years away, is the first step to making sure you get this thing done. Otherwise, you'll blink, it'll be 3 years from now, and you still won't have signed up yet, even though you probably have all the points. And there's a non-refundable application fee of $150. There is no current annual renewal cost to maintain a designation. You don't pay for it annually like you might with some others, except that you have to be an active member to maintain your thing. So you have to keep your membership.
Is there any continuing education requirement?
There is no continuing educational requirement for your RMP. We've talked a lot about it. They've gone back and forth on it, and currently there is not. They feel like that they figure like in this business, but you can think about that. You can become distant with NARPM. You could still be a member, pay your dues, not be involved, not doing it, and you can get outdated by not being current. And that's some of their concern, and they keep talking about it. I would not be surprised if there comes in our future some minimal thing that says you got to show you're continuing to evolve if you want to maintain them. So what we don't want is people holding a designation and not be done. What time am I supposed to be done at? 10 minutes? Okay, good. Well, this is one the other ones are going to move much quicker because they're going to make a lot of sense. They're going to follow our lines, and they're farther out. So I'll move them much faster and get us to the end of this. So NPM, what do we need? Got to be a current member, got to be licensed for 5 previous years, right? Have to have already achieved your RMP designation, okay? And then you have to provide verification of 500 units over a minimum of 5 consecutive years. So you're looking at 100, 100, 100, 100, right? Or any combination of that with having at least 50 during your candidacy. So you have to at least be twice the size of the RMP as far as when you start and when you finish it, and then totaling it over a 5-year window of 500 units. But if you're managing 300 units right now, you'd be 300 this year and 300 or 350 next year, and then boom, you already have more than enough. Successfully complete 24 hours of NARPM approved coursework. That is 4 classes, not the previous 3 classes you already took. So it's a total of 3 for your RMP, 4 more for your NPM, 7 of the existing classes. That's not all of them, but it's pretty close. And the goal here is by the time you reach this point, you've taken almost every NARPM course that's available. And if you're taking the other ones to earn extra points for them, you're pretty much going to max out every class. That's kind of the goal of this thing, right? If you're going to be a master property manager, the highest rating in NARPM, it would probably be pretty good to say, I've taken every course they've offered. And it's almost making you do that. Earn 200 elective points. And that sounds really scary when we were like, I got to get 50. Now I got to get 200. But the thing is,
first 50 count.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's 200, but the first 50 that you've already done already count towards you, so, which includes the RMP points you earned.
We did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
I might be there.
There you go. But the thing about this is baby steps, right? By the time you're RMP, you're first doing those first service things. By the time you get your NPM, we hope that you've stepped up to bigger and greater things, which earn you bigger and greater points, which makes it a lot easier to get to 200 points. I will tell you right now, most people struggle to get their RMP points, and by the time they get their NPM, it was not the points that they were struggling to get. It's usually the education or the hour or the years of experience, those 500. That's usually the stumbling blocks for the NPM. Or the 5-year window for a guy who just started brand new and came straight into NARPM. It's, you know, he can't get it for basically 7 years. So, attend at least 2 NARPM national conventions prior to completing candidacy that were not counted. So to get your NPM, you have to get credit for 3. That's 3 conventions, or broker owners, or 6 state conferences could fill all the gap in for the 1 for the RMP and then 2 for the NPM. And then any extra ones go to helping you earn points. Submit your letters. Again, you have to have 1 from an NPM candidate and 3 more clients. Could be the same client that did your RMP. And then the same thing can be electronic. Submit a completed candidacy checklist packet within 3 years of your application date. Non-refundable application fee of $250. CRMC, you have to have an NPM designee on staff to even be a candidate. You have to assign who is it. Now that person can change, but every CMC RMC office has an NPM designated, or they lose it. We had one who lost their NPM and then lost their CRMC because the owner of the company never went and got. Now he's went out and earned his RMP, and he's trying to earn his NPM so he can get his CRMC back because he had an employee who was an NPM and they went and got their CMC. Then the employee left, and then he was no longer qualified to maintain the designation. Provide verification of 500 years of management experience. Successfully complete an on-site visit from a NARPM auditor selected by the certification committee. They come to your office and do an in-office audit of the CRMC checklist. So this is the first time where there is a human being involved in determining that everything is valid and accurate, because it is the largest, highest award we give out. Complete the audit process within 3 years of making your application, and the non-refundable application fee is $350. The expenses of the on-site auditor to come and audit you, you have to pay for. NARPM will pay the auditor for his times, and the company will pay NARPM. We got rid of this having to pay the person that's there. It was kind of weird. It's like you're buying their thing. So they get paid by NARPM, and NARPM gives you a bill. And then there is an annual renewal of your CRMC of $150. And every 4th year, you have to recertify. You have to go through a re-checklist. No visit to the office, but tell them specifically and fill out all these things and resubmit that data to validate that that CRMC is still valid. And boom. How'd we do? What time is it?
Perfect.
I have a question. Okay, so the number of verification of 100 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm, I'm the broker owner.
Okay.
And I have 50 doors over the past 2 years.
Yep.
Does that verification come from a printout of my propertyware? Does it come from my accountant?
Any one of those things, whichever one you feel most confident. Well, you know what I did? I took some data. I created a spreadsheet of the addresses.
Okay.
In 2006, here were all the homes I managed by address. Whoop, whoop, and I put a total number. Okay. In 2007, here are the houses I managed. Whoop, whoop, I put a number. And in 2 years, that was like, I don't know, 400 doors or whatever back then. Okay. 200 about each, roughly about each, 150 and 250 or whatever. Yep. Okay. And the trick there is, can you go back and prove what did you manage in just that year, as opposed to what are you managing this year?
Well,
so the total. So for the NPM,
it's a total.
500. This has to be 500.
500 over 5 years. Yeah. So it could be 100 every year, or it could be 50, 50, 50, 200, 300,
Okay.
and you're still
If I
there.
was 150 and came into another position that had 500 and something on the books already. I've been
Then,
doing that for years.
yeah, you're good.
And then on the, and this might just be a question for Cindy. So Cindy, every time I go to the PMC local chapter meetings, how, do you have a way to pull which ones I attended, so I know?
Have a roster
And
number.
it's one
You did.
site for every meeting.
Okay,
Yep.
I think that's it, thank you.
Yep, and so, are you looking at the checklist?
I am.
Yeah, the checklist is the way that you're going to be able to, and you can, you
I
can,
carry it around.
Yep.
And just,
even though that's online and it's all there,
Yeah.
having that checklist there and just being able to, I used to highlight them once they were done so I could see that everything that was sitting there white, I still had to worry about. Because I'm like, okay, what can I do to solve these last few things? Because the way that it goes is the first set are absolute requirements. You have to do them. So if you haven't got them done, you better do them, like taking 3 classes. Then there's the list of things you can do to earn 50 points. And there you got to keep thinking about it. What can I do? How can I go get 50? Start adding them up. And I tell people, write an article for the magazine. It's 15 points. You can do that at any time. They're starving for articles.
And
Just,
they accept all of them.
oh, they don't accept them all. You write yourself a good article on a good topic and they're going to accept it. They accepted mine. I only wrote, well, now I remember writing it as a president, but I only wrote one article and I wrote it to get my RMP. And after that, I didn't ever write another article again, which is probably sad, but generally that's where most of our articles come from, is people trying to work on their designations, and then they think about a subject matter that they feel strongly about, can write an article about, and that's when you're reading those, that's what a lot of those people are doing. They're working on their designations, and it gives us stuff to be, not all of them, some of them are other people, and we've got, chairmen that write regularly and things like that. The biggest thing on this is it will get you involved. You'll be a better property manager at the end of it. And there's something about, there are professional investors out there that know who NARPM is. They go online, look, and I'm going to tell you, ever go and look at the list of names in your city? The ones with the designations get listed at the top of the list.
yeah.
And they
that was
work their
something
way down.
I was gonna.
They stack them. So if you're an NPM, RMP, CRMC, and your last name starts with a B, whoo-hoo, you're number 1. That's me.
That was one thing I was going to put. I mean, it's a small enough group. I can tell you all this. But when I looked at the Triangle chapter of NARPM, I just wanted to make sure, of course, I was out there, and I was. I went online. I paid to get my RMP candidacy, and
You
I
jumped
showed up on the
at-
first page after that.
Yep,
So
because-
I haven't completed this yet.
Because they start with those that earned them, then they go, so as soon as you apply, you have a little colored thing next to your name that says RMPC.
Which means
RMP candidate means you are officially a candidate, and that's a title that they show, and that moves you up on the pecking list, the pecking order. And just know this affects more than just us members looking at each other. If you call, USAA is a very large insurance company, and they have an internal real estate program. You call USA and say, I want to sell my house. They go, let me send you 2. They have a program. But they have nothing for property management. And their headquarters is in San Antonio. I keep trying to get them to build a referral base for us. They won't do it. But you know what they will do? The one thing that they finally said that, well, we'll do this. Anybody that calls and says, I need to find a property manager, they go to this site, narpm.org, find a property manager, type your city in, and anybody on that list is the people we recommend to be your property manager. That's what they do. They tell everybody out there, they go to NARPM. So if you're on the NARPM list, that's great. But if you're higher up on the NARPM list, that's even better, and you get there by earning designations. And we already said, why shouldn't we reward those who've earned them? Because you are already saying, you get this RMP, you're in the top 8% of our membership.